Okay, when we're adding or subtracting, this is addition slash subtraction with radicals, we always want to simplify first. So if we see these, this is an example, we see these three radicals here and we want to add these up, or add or subtract, add and subtract. They look all different. They have to have exactly the same index, which would be the square root or cube root, if we had cube roots. And they have to have the same radicand. Otherwise, we can't. So we can simplify this. I know there's a perfect square factor, so this is the same thing as 25 times 2. That's 50. And this is the same thing as 9 times 2. That's 18. And this is the same thing as 4 times 2. And I can take the square root of 25, which is 5, so I've got 5, times the square root of 2. Square root of 9 is 3, so 3 times the square root of 2, minus, and then the square root of 4 is 2, so 2 square roots of 2. So it's not, now it's like you have now 5 square roots of 2 plus 3 square roots of 2. Oop, that's 2. 2 square roots of 2, pardon me. So now we have like 5 red dogs plus 3 red dogs minus 2 red dogs. How many red dogs do we have? C square roots of 2, so it's the same thing. So it's 5 plus 3 is 8. So I got 8 things minus 2 things is what? 6. Or 5 red dogs plus 2 red dogs is 8 red dogs, minus 2 red dogs is 6 red dogs. So they have to have exactly the same index. In this case, this would have to be, in this case, it's understood to be 2, that's the square root, and the same radicand, that's the number underneath there. Okay, here's another example. Four times the square root of 12 minus 6 times the square root of 18 plus the square root of 8. This is kind of similar. This is the same thing as 4 times the square root, and this is going to be 4 times 3. It's 12 minus 6 times the square root of 9 times 2 is 18, plus 4 times the square root of 2. Well, this won't be the same. This is a pretty good example. What's the square root of 4? 2. So now we got 2, and what's 4 times 2? And you got to be careful because sometimes people have confusion here. So this is 4, but what's the square root of 4? I better write it down. And what's the square root of 4? 2 times the square root of 2. You got to be careful because sometimes people have a little, they multiply 4 times 4. You got to take the square root to get it out of there. And this is going to be minus 6. And what's the square root of 9? 3 times the square root of 2. And the square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 2. So you got to be careful when you're bringing these out because sometimes people just multiply 4 times 4 rather than 2 times 4. So what's 4 times 2? That's going to be 8. Minus, and what's 6 times 3? Plus 2 square roots of 2. Now, this is like 8 black cats minus 18 red dogs plus 2 red dogs. So we can't add cats and dogs. So this stays the same. I can't simplify this because it doesn't have the same radicand. So this is 8 times the square root of 3 minus, and then what's negative 18 plus 2? That's negative 16 red dogs. Negative 18 red dogs plus 2 red dogs is negative 16 red dogs. And that's what you've got. And you can't simplify this any further because they have different radicands. That's the number under the radical. Okay? So there's a couple of examples. I hope that helps.